Well, this should be the last video I would think for this morning. I don't really need to do news of the day. Look through the goings on in the NHL, and we're good right now. Not really necessary. Let's take a look. Let's take a look at the Islanders by request. The 9-game winning streak. It's noteworthy, and it's noteworthy because they seem to be getting better as the streak goes along. They lost 3 of their first 4. And they didn't look great. They didn't look awful, but they didn't look great. And right away, people are like, all right, so this is, the Islanders are going to fall apart this year, clearly. And a lot of people took them to fall out of the playoffs this year. The Islanders, though, had other plans. First at home against Florida. They had a shootout win, 3-2. They had a lead. They lost that lead late. Florida tied it, but they won it. It's a shootout win, but it's a win. The shots were 37-28 in that game for Florida, and Varlamov was the third star. It is worth tracking where their goaltenders are at in this winning streak. And then at home against St. Louis, they won in overtime, 3-2. The shots were 32-23 in favor of the Islanders. So again, close game, pretty darn close, and they managed to pull out the 2 points. At Winnipeg, they win 3-1. Bailey gets the empty net goal at 19:33. So technically, when I see the empty net goal, to me that's a 1-goal game. Very often, empty net goals can make a game look a lot more lopsided than it necessarily was. And the shots in this one were 33-26 for Winnipeg, and Varlamov was star number 2. So again, goaltenders, one of the 3 stars. At Columbus, they won 3-2. In overtime. So again, that's 3 out of 4 they won in extra time. So they're on a 4-game winning streak, but if you look at it from the point of how convincing are these victories, the answer is not very. The shots were 36-34 in favor of Columbus, but Thomas Greiss is star number 1, meaning Mitch Korn is your superstar for the New York Islanders. And Barry Trott's not too far behind him. So now they've won 4 in a row. They go back home. They play against Arizona. They win 4-2. Mayfield with the empty net goal at 19:48. So again, I see that as a 1-goal game. The shots were 23-22 in favor of Arizona. Then they go to Ottawa, and this is where the winning streak really starts to become, okay, now they're straight out winning. They won 4-2 in Ottawa. The shots were 32-24 in favor of the Senators, but they won the game 4-2. They go home and play against Philadelphia. They won 5-3. The shots were 33-31 in favor of the Islanders. So this is, again, that brings them to 7. And the confidence is picking up, and the team's overall play is just really rounding into trapping form. Versus Tampa. 5-2 win. Brassard gets an empty netter at 19:24, which makes it look a little bit worse than it was. But the shots were 35-26 in favor of Tampa, so Thomas Greiss is your third star. Then last night against Buffalo, in Buffalo, they win 1-0. So they sent Tampa off to Sweden with a loss, and now they sent Buffalo off to Sweden with a loss. Your shots are 27-21 in favor of the Buffalo Sabres. Varlamov is star number 1, saving all of Buffalo's shots. And so that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of 9 wins where a goaltender for the New York Islanders is one of the 3 stars. Twice, it's Thomas Greiss, and 3 times, it's Varlamov. So that tells you all you need to know, that the goaltending has been excellent. Their power play is clicking at number 11 in the NHL at 22.7%. They're number 10 on the penalty kill, 83.8%. It's been said if you can keep your power play and penalty kill top 10 in the league, you're likely going to the playoffs. Their shots against per game is actually 17th in the NHL at 31.4. So they're allowing a lot of shots, but Greiss is number 5 in the NHL in save percentage with a 933. Varlamov is 8th in the NHL with a 929. It's not too bad. And if they keep up those numbers, they will continue to move up, because as we get through the season, some of the great starts goalies have got off to starts to drop off a bit. Some of the guys who got off to great scoring starts, they start to drop off a bit. Things kind of even out. So if they can keep these numbers up, they may very well find themselves at the top of the league. This team is number 3 in goals against per game, 2.23. They are behind only Boston and Arizona. So Arizona being top 2 is still kind of weird to me. Might take a while to get used to that. Number 17 in goals for per game at 3, even. They're tied with New Jersey. So the difference between New Jersey and the Islanders, goaltending. And that's pretty clear when you look at the numbers. Although Blackwood's picking it up for the Devils over the last week, in general, the goaltending for the Islanders has been excellent right off the hop this year. Now, looking at their scorers, there's nothing here that's remarkable. And I think about all the complaining you hear out of Toronto about how this guy's barely at a point per game and this guy's barely over a point per game. And look at this guy, he didn't get a goal this game. He's only got wow. Their leading scorer is Barzal with 6 goals, 5 assists, 11 points in 13 games. That doesn't project to a great season for most teams for a leading scorer. And yet, because they play as a team and because of how this team plays, nobody's complaining about slow starts. These guys all buy into what Barry Trotz is selling. And it's something that, honestly, I really enjoy seeing players do this, where they will sacrifice personal stats in the name of team defense and in the name of doing what the coach is telling them to do. Bailey, 5 goals, 6 assists. Nelson, 4 goals, 6 assists. They've played 13 games as well. Anders Lee, 5 goals and 4 assists for him. Beauvillier, 2 goals, 6 assists. Devon Taves, 2 goals and 6 assists for him. Who would have bet that Devon Taves would be outscoring Jonathan Taves this late into the season? Not many. Brassard, 5 goals, 2 assists, and Derek Brassard proves that once again, Lou Lamoriello, while there are some who want to cast Lou Lamoriello and say, he's not really a big part of what's going on with the Islanders. He's not that smart. You look what he did to New Jersey, and in Toronto he did this. Okay. With the New York Islanders, every move he makes seems to turn to gold. Brassard was picked up for dirt cheap. He was coming off of a poor season where he split the season between 3 different teams. He's played for umpteen number of teams over the last 5 years. He gets to the Islanders. He has 5 goals and 2 assists in 13 games, and that's on a very reasonable contract. So again, he looks really smart. He was getting grilled over the summer because he let Robin Lehner go and signed Varlamov. Now, Lehner's been very good in Chicago, but Varlamov has resurrected his career with the Islanders. So, he didn't get Bobrovsky, who I think he really wanted. He didn't get Panarin, who I think he might have wanted. He didn't get Marner. He didn't do the offer sheet thing with Marner, which I think he might have wanted. But still, and they didn't keep Tavares, which he wanted to do when he got there. Boychuk at 1 goal, 6 assists in 12 games. And again, I mentioned this a lot last year, and I'm going to say it again. I think if Tavares had stayed with the Islanders, I think we'd be talking about a completely different situation. And I don't know that it necessarily would be more positive. There's the word, more positive. Because I don't know with Tavares how much he would have bought into the Barry Trotz system. There's just certain players that do and certain players don't. And maybe he would have been great. Maybe he would be leading this team in scoring and he would be revered as a king by Islander fans. But I don't think so. I think that having a no-name group, no offense to Matthew Barzal, none, he's a star, but having a group of players who aren't as renowned as a John Tavares, having a group of players that can play kind of a nameless game, like a Beauvillier, like Lee and Nelson and all these guys, I think that really helps the bottom line and helps with winning streaks like this. Their ice time leaders, kind of drive this home, are Pelech and Pulock, who are their tandem, their top tandem. Pelech, 21 minutes and 29 seconds. Pulock, 21 minutes and 5 seconds. Notice, they're not here in the top scorers. Their defense is not looked for big points. You see Taves with 8. You see Boychuk with 7. I believe Pulock has 6. So they can score, but they're not looking for that big home run Brent Burns type. And I think that benefits them as well. There's no one player on the New York Islanders that you can just say, okay, well, we just shut down Barzal and we're good. All right, we just shut down Lee and we're good. Because there's a lot of other guys that can hurt you. And because the goaltending is so fantastic, playing so well, these guys don't need to score a lot. They just need to score a couple. Look, throughout this winning streak, there's 3, 3, 3, 3. And this one's a shootout, so 2 goals were scored during the hockey part, and then 1 was scored during the shootout. They're not scoring a ton. 4, 4, 5, 5, and then last night 1. Their goaltenders have allowed 2, 2, 1, 2, 2, 2, 3, 2, 0. As long as your goaltenders are allowing 2 or less, which has been the case in 8 of 9 during this winning streak, you're going to win a lot of games. And for the New York Islanders, it is a testament to how well coached they are, how well managed they are, and how smartly put together this team has been by Lou Lamoriello. That he has managed to find guys like Brassard to just put into a spot where he needs somebody, like last year was Valtteri Filppula, and he brought back Martin, and he puts things together really well. This is a pretty darn decent team. It is worth noting, and you can put this in asterisks as well, a lot of these players were there when Garth Snow was the GM. Garth Snow did not have Barry Trotz as a coach, and Mitch Korn as the goaltending coach is a huge story as well. So the failings of Garth Snow are well documented, but a lot of this roster was there when he was the general manager. So I'm not saying he deserves credit, but I do think that a lot of the hate that he got as general manager, I always thought it was kind of overblown. I actually did a video on the channel on Garth Snow, looked over all of his moves, and at the end of it I kind of went, you know what, he's actually been pretty good. He failed in a couple of very key areas, but he was pretty good overall. It's just those key areas eventually bit him, and it was the goaltending, ironically, that ended up biting him a lot. And that was the first thing Lou Lamoriello fixed, because Lou Lamoriello knows the importance of goaltenders. He had Brodeur in New Jersey. First thing he did in Toronto was pick up Freddie Anderson, and with the Islanders, he saw a systemic problem, and he set out to fix it. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below regarding the current winning streak of the New York Islanders, how far you think it can go, and just how far you think this team can go. Let me know what you guys think. Hit like and subscribe if you're browsing your way through. It just happened upon this video. Thank you guys so much for watching, for all your support. I'll talk to you again soon.